Okay, here is my VCF lab. You can see that I have two workload domains. And if I go to my VI workload domain Paris, I have two clusters, cluster 1 in building 1 and cluster 2 in building 2, with 3 ESX in each. And if I want more information on my compute, I go to the VCF compute component, vCenter. And you can see that in my cluster 1, I have my 3 ESX. Cluster 2, I have 3 other ESX. And you can see I have a 2-tier app with the web tier, web 1 on VLAN 91. Same thing for the web 2. And the DB tier is on VLAN 92. And it's working fine. I mean, I can access my web 1, I can access my web 2. Each of those access the DB, life is good. But now I want to move that existing application into the logical world. So for this, I'll go to the VCF component for network, which is NSX. And let's look at my current network topology. So we can see that I have a logical router tier 0 that is connected to my physical routers in building 1 and building 2 with ECMP, so great for scale, great for high availability. And we can see that I have already one application that is already deployed in the logical space. It's a very basic application with one single VM. We can see it here. And I have also another logical router ready to host any new application or any migrated application from physical world, and that's what I will demonstrate now. So for this, I will go under System, I will go under Migrate, and I will migrate my first web subnet into the logical world. So for this, step 1, I will create a bridge to bridge this physical VLAN into the logical world. By the way, in the meantime, I have 2 pings from my external client to web 1 and web 2 to show there is no impact or limited impact during this migration. So for this step, there is no impact at all, since I'm not touching anything on the compute VMs. Here we go. It did create the bridge. Now let's migrate the VMs into the logical world. And let's see the impact on the data plane. We can see that I lose a single ping when those VMs are attached from the physical VLAN to the logical network. Now, the next step is to configure the default gateway in the logical world for that subnet. So the same IP as the one I have on my physical router. So far, it's only the configuration, so no impact in the data plane. Here we go. And this one will have an impact. I need to unconfigure it on the physical router. I have a script for that, and then configure it on the logical router. So I unplug the physical router and I plug the logical router, and we'll see the impact. So yeah, my physical router is unplugged, and soon after my logical router will be plugged and traffic will go through it. Here we go. I lost 4 pings, and this ends the migration. Now I don't need the bridge, so I'll disconnect it. Here we go. and the migration of the VLAN web is finished. Now let's go quick for the migration of the VLAN DB, but waiting for it, even if DB is not migrated yet, we can validate that everything is working fine. Web 1 talks to DB, Web 2 talks to DB as well. Let's go fast forward and migrate this one. Here we go. The migration of both VLAN has been done. So now if I look at the topology in the logical space, you can see that I have my whole application now in the logical space, still working. Web 1 working fine, Web 2 working fine, they both access the DB, perfect. But now let's start enjoying the benefits of the logical space and add some new services. Let's start with load balancing. I can add a load balancer here in a VIP, but to go faster, I have that with a script, a Terraform script. And so this will create my load balancer I need for this application. Yes, and we'll look at the configuration. Here we go, refresh. I have my load balancer. I have my VIP that is load balancing my pool. And we can see this pool is load balancing my two Web 1 and Web 2. And I have a health check that is configured to test if the pool is up, just doing a basic TCP health check. So now if I check, it's already up. So now if I go to the browser, I can access Web 1 directly, I can access Web 2 directly, but now I can also access the VIP directly. And you can see that I'm on server 1. If I click again, I'm on server 2, 12, 11, 12. I'm well load balanced. So that's one new service. Now, let's say I also want to secure this application with micro-segmentation. So I could create a section and rules, but same thing. I have a script that does that much faster. Here we go. Here we go. And if I refresh, I have my section where I accept any client talking to my web tier on HTTP, HTTPS, and ping. Web tier can talk to the DB tier on MySQL, and nothing else to the web tier DB tier is allowed. So again, if I go to the VIP, I'm load balanced between server 1, server 2, web 1, web 2. It accesses the DB. To quickly validate the micro-segmentation, I could reject web to DB. Okay, publish. And now if I go to the VIP, web 1 cannot talk to DB. If I refresh, web 2 cannot talk to DB going through the VIP or going straight to the web 1 or straight to the web 2. Same thing. Perfect. Now let's reopen it. And what else? What other benefits I could use being in the logical space? What I could also do is, before my VLAN was only in building 1, not in building 2, but now it's on logical network switches everywhere. So I can move my any VM and change it to another building, because let's say building 1 is overloaded, where building 2, the ESX in building 2 are not. The network is everywhere, so perfect. And let's vMotion it. And we can see there is no impact with vMotion, so perfect. I can do that live, and web 1 will transition from building 1 to building 2. Let's do a fast forward because it takes a couple of minutes to vMotion. Here we go. Web 1 is already in building 2. still works fine, whatever direct or through the VIP, Web 1, Web 2. Now let's move the DB as well. Okay, I have Web 1 and DB in building 2 and Web 2 in building 1. Again, everything is working fine. I'm load balanced between Web 1 and Web 2. Life is good. Now let's say I have a big failure in building 1. And let's see if my application is transparently still available. So to kill building 1, I have also a script. So here we go. And I have two pings, ping going to Web 1, ping going to Web 2, and let's see what it does. So the killing is done. You can see the ping on Web 2 stopped and failed. The ping on Web 1 still works fine. I didn't lose any ping. And if I access Web 1, it's working. Of course, if I access Web 2, it's spinning. Now, if I check my VIP, I can see that my VIP still has two pools, one pool with two members, Web 1 and Web 2, and I have a health check. So now if I check the status, it's still up, but in few seconds it will be down for the Web 2. Here we go. I can see that it's down for Web 2. So now if I access the VIP, I'm on Web 1. If I access it again, I'm on Web 1. And so for end users, it's completely transparent. I'm not load balanced because Web 2 is not available, but I have full access to the application. Okay, so thanks for your time. And this ends the demo of migration of applications from physical to logical with benefits shown after that migration. Thanks a lot.